Finding the absolute perfect, logical, mechanical solution for your actively growing household can feel exactly like searching for a needle in a massive corporate haystack, especially when every dealership is trying to force you into a massively overpriced, heavy crossover vehicle. When your personal life transitions heavily and permanently into busy parenthood, your entire automotive priorities naturally shift drastically and aggressively from caring deeply about fast 0 to 100 straight-line acceleration times to heavily obsessing over exact rear door opening mechanical angles and the immediate physical accessibility of lower steel anchor points for massive, heavy child safety seats. The very first time you physically attempt to awkwardly load a massive, strangely shaped heavy infant carrier safely into the deep back of this highly specific vehicle, you will immediately and incredibly deeply appreciate the massive fact that the rear metal doors physically swing open to an incredibly wide, generous angle, practically gracefully reaching a full, highly usable 90 degrees. This wide opening securely, safely allows you to easily step directly straight into the metal doorframe without awkwardly, painfully twisting your lower human back into highly painful, unnatural physical positions just to secure the tight child seatbelt into the ISOFIX anchors hidden between the cushions. The physical sponge contouring of the rear bench soft seat is also an absolute engineering triumph of highly practical interior design because it is just heavily sculpted enough to successfully provide genuine long-term posture comfort for large adult passengers during massive cross-country road trips, but absolutely remains structurally flat enough entirely across the main physical seating surface that a highly bulky, hard, rigid plastic child safety base can sit completely securely, perfectly flush, exactly against the fabric upholstery. Speaking directly and specifically of the interior cloth upholstery, the highly specific, tight fabric compounds heavily utilized on the completely standard factory trim levels are physically woven so incredibly tightly and heavily chemically treated completely with such highly durable synthetic protective materials that absolute catastrophic liquid accidents involving highly sticky, sweet fruit juice boxes can usually safely be aggressively vacuumed or completely, easily, quickly wiped entirely away. When you physically slide comfortably down into the front driver's seat, you will immediately visibly notice that your absolute outward surrounding visibility is phenomenally incredibly good because the front vertical structural roof steel pillars are cleverly kept relatively very thin, and the overall lower window beltline of the entire car purposefully sits low enough that you effortlessly constantly maintain a truly absolutely commanding, completely unobstructed panoramic wide view of the highly chaotic, dangerous traffic swarming completely tightly around you. From a strictly incredibly long-term, highly financial perspective, the basic routine physical maintenance on this highly specific mechanical platform is so incredibly logically straightforward and highly incredibly simple that absolutely any highly competent, independent, local neighborhood mechanic can easily work physically on it, essentially completely blindfolded, meaning absolutely you will absolutely totally never be unfairly held financial hostage by those wildly highly expensive authorized dealership service centers. Replacement physical parts are highly consistently heavily available at practically absolutely every single local neighborhood auto parts store on the entire global planet, and they are remarkably incredibly cheap to physically purchase, whether you simply absolutely need a highly basic paper engine breathing air filter or a completely totally new full set of thick, heavy ceramic brake friction pads.